Hey, welcome everyone to Mystics Outlook. We got Carter Dudley Jr. here with us, Raven Lions. Wilson Tarbay Jr., the Washington Mystics, they never make it easy, but it was definitely exciting. A little bit wonky down the stretch. Uh, Very wild sequence. We featured a timeout being given and taken back. That said, the Mystics got a big stop late. Sonia Citron and Shakira Austin coming together to stop the Jackie Young drive, and Washington rallied and then held on for the 70-68 win. Ray, we'll start with you and then Cardell. Your thoughts as Washington? They are now 10-10. They are back to 500.
Yeah, man, they were pretty much playing catch up for most of this game. Played into the stalemate in the first quarter, but that second quarter was one of those mystic stinkers that we've seen from time to time. Aces kind of jumped on them and took control of the game. A lot of early turnovers for the Mystics. We talk about that ad nauseum about how that just disrupts everything they try to do as a team. When they're not able to get stops, it disrupts their flow on both ends. Naturally, because their defense is out of sync, and then they're not able to get out and run and be easy ones, which then when they have to operate in the half court, they're not effective either. So they're not able to set up their defense because they're not making shots and they're in transition and scrambling. So yeah, man. But they worked themselves back into the game. Came out at halftime, won the third quarter, 23-15. Then held the Aces to 13 points in the fourth quarter as well to kind of erase that deficit. But yeah, man, like Wilson said, down the stretch, they just played hard, man. It was a lot of helter skelter basketball going on from both sides. But we were able to see them kind of take the reins a little bit. Brittany Sykes started to get aggressive and attacking the basket, and that kind of opened things up. Defensively, nobody could stay in front of Dana Evans tonight. In a game where you're lucky enough not to have to deal with Asia Wilson, you can't let Dana Evans get off like that. Chelsea Gray and Jackie Young and Drew Lloyd, they contributed greatly as well. But yeah, man, they definitely made it harder than it had to be. But glad they were able to get out with a W.
Cardell.
Yeah, they did what they had to do late. Coming into the game, obviously without Asia, the Aces are second in the WNBA in blocks. So you take Asia away from there, you pretty much take away half of their, rim protection. And I feel like the Mystics should just attack. Just don't settle for a lot of threes. Just attack them. Make them have to guard. Make them have to work. And overall, they did a decent enough job, obviously, to get the win. They outscored them 44-38 in the paint. And then the next thing, make your free throws. Don't have don't replicate what you did on Tuesday. And they responded in a big way. Like we said, it was an outlier for Shakira to miss that many free throws. I know she only got 2 attempts today, but she made all of them. But overall, they 82%, 14-17. That's where it comes back to help you in a close game like this. You know what I mean? Because you miss a couple, the Aces got the W. So neither team obviously shot well from deep, but the big thing was the points in the paint, and with them attacking the paint, it put fouls on them. Nalissa Smith, 6 fouls, fouled out. I know she fouled out when she dove into the ground, but she fouled out. Jackie Young, 3 fouls. Chelsea Gray, 3 fouls. The key players for them, especially without Asia, picked up some fouls where it made them have to adjust, and that played into the Mystics' hands, man. You know what I mean? Seriously. It was again another dogfight. They won a rebounding battle as well. It was another dogfight, but they found a way to win this one. And these were the close games for the season that they were losing. You know what I mean? So that it shows growth and development with this team that they're starting to pull out these wins. But in the fourth quarter, we got to tip our hat off to the Mystics, man. Their defense was ridiculous, man. They held They held the Aces to 29% from the field. They couldn't get nothing, man. I was scoring them 20-13, and that was the difference game. Meanwhile, they didn't shoot the ball too well. They shot 46%. But when your defense is suffocating like that, where they can't get anything going, and especially in money time, which is the fourth quarter, it's just huge, man. And we got to give Sonia Citron a lot of credit, man. She had a nightmare shooting the ball for about 3 quarters, but when they needed her most, she responded. She had 7 points in the fourth quarter, 2 of 4, and she had some big defensive stops, especially the one late. Fundamentally sound, moving her feet, walled up, didn't come down where Jackie Young get the cheap foul. Just walled up, made her shoot over. That was enough for her to be off with the layup, got the key defensive rebound, so they wouldn't get another crack at it, dribbled it out, won the game, man. And that's just staying in the game, man. Because look, man, how many rookies? We ain't even gonna say rookies. How many vets would have been shooting the ball that bad and would have been out the game in that moment, and and made mental errors where it could have cost the team. It just shows you how special. We know how special the rookie class is, but these are the moments where it really shows how special they are, man. So a big win. Just keep it going. Don't give it back. Don't have these back-to-back wins and then Sunday go out there and lay a stinker and then it kind of erases it. Keep it going, keep building wins, and they could shock some teams if they just stay healthy and just keep growing, keep developing later on in the season.
Yeah, I thought it was huge that they just kept the defensive end. I think Ray mentioned earlier something about Dana Evans. She got off to a hell of a start in that first half, right? No one can really stay in front of her. And I was kind of waiting to see how the Mystics guards would respond. As we saw, you just mentioned, as the game went later and later, the Mystics guards did in fact respond. They closed that off. They ended up having to take her back off the court and put Jewel back in to where it was Jewel, Jackie, and Chelsea. And then again, you talk about Citron. The job she did on Jackie Young, and we know how freaking physical Jackie Young is to deal with, my God. And for most of the night, it was on her own, holding up, having to wall up and deal with the initial shot of physicality from Jackie Young is absurd. To deal with it as she gets closer to the rim is even more. Most people usually start sliding. She continually held up, man. I thought she did a great job at that, as you mentioned. And it was good to see them as helter-skelter some of the last couple possessions were. They seemed a little bit more poised in Vegas, as crazy as it got. At Eagle Bank, the setup a little different. So Cardell, we're like the Aces bench is right to our left, right?
Yeah, I cover George Mason. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so it's right there. Sorry, obviously, stupid comment. To the left is right there, and we're watching them react to some of this social sculpture. The craziness, it was hilarious. I'm in that moment because their coaching staff's going nuts trying to figure out what their team is doing in that moment. As Ray alluded to before we got on, it's like one of the rebounds, I think Shakira slapped it back out. It goes to Chelsea Gray. I don't know what mystic it was. Shout out to that person closing the gap on Chelsea Gray immediately to make her, because she didn't shoot it. And then I think they got to stop. It was like the longest possession that ever lasted. They got to stop. They get it to Suge. Suge puts it on the floor, gets ripped by Jewel. Like, everything bad that could happen in that stretch happened, right? And they still, they pulled out with the W, man, and that's what mattered. That's what mattered most. But we're gonna get with you real quick and see who you have for player of the game. And I'm just gonna switch my computer and ask Ray who he had.
Oh yeah, no, Dana Evans 0 in the second half, so she ain't. But player of the game, man. Probably gotta go with I gotta go with Shakira. She held it down. 16 and 8, 2 assists. Wasn't the most efficient and up to her standards, but she was a steady force and consistent She's probably the most consistent Mystic as far as scoring and defense and rebounding. Throughout the game to keep them in it while they were struggling until they found the rhythm and got back in it late in the game.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I'm probably have to go with Shakira as well. Just her defensive presence, and then she was finding places to be effective offensively as well. Those short rolls when Brittany was finding her, yeah, those was clutch, and those was a big part of them finding their way back into the game in the second half. But yeah, man, you gotta give props to her, man. Her play recently just continuing to be stellar on both ends.
Yeah, no argument for me. You guys laid it all out. I think the only negative thing was that tap out near the end that we were talking about. But again, that might have been my only knock on the night. But I thought she came up big. I thought her and Kiki kind of throughout the game kind of self-corrected and figured it out. Because the Aces are clearly, obviously we don't have Asia. They're going to try to get the ball inside. And we're just going to jump we're going to jump everything inside. But they started to relocate, as Ray mentioned, and found better spots. And like Ray mentioned, I think Shakira did a great job of that. So, Cardell, X Factor?
Gotta give it a C-Tron. Look, this is a perfect example of, fine, you don't have it offensively, but stay in the game, keep playing defense, rebound the ball, and when you get your opportunities, get to the line or stay aggressive. And when you get to the line, make your free throws. Just make winning plays, man. Look, she was 2 for 10 in the game. She was 2 for 10. But her defense literally won the game. And that's where it goes back to when people be like, trying to say scoring is the most important thing. Nah, man, because you're gonna have games like this where you can't make a shot. Like that layup late in the game, she jabbed and drove. I was like, cool, and it rimmed out. It's just like, all right, cool. It's one of them nights. It's just every player has had them. But she stayed locked in and didn't let it affect the other end of the floor. And that's why defense is the most important, because that's the one floor you could be that's the one aspect of the game you could be most consistent at. And without it, you just don't win. I don't care how much you score and all that. And she delivered, man. She had some key stops. Like they even tried to ISO her late, with Jackie late, and she held up both times, got the offensive rebound, dribbled out. She was most definitely on the X factor, because without those stops, they don't win.
Right.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. Wilson talked about the physicality of the Aces guards earlier, and Sonya stood there and took it, not only from them, but there was a play early in the game where Nalissa Smith basically tried to put her whole shoulder through Sonya's chest. She walled up, absorbed it, allowed Shakira to come over and get the block. Just little things like that, man. Like Cardell pointed out, her offense just wasn't there tonight, until the fourth quarter when she was able to score a little bit. But everything she did was hugely important to this win, especially those defensive stops throughout the game. But most notably down the stretch, she held up tremendously. And yeah, man, those were key points to help them get the W.
Yeah, I have no argument here at all. That's how vets move. That's the type of game she had tonight. Rookies don't typically respond like that. That's a tough night from a vet who's been battle tested, and been through some wars to understand how important it is to stay locked in, as you guys mentioned. That's a rookie responding like this, man. And we talk about Ray mentioned physicality just now. Like that's Chelsea Gray, Jewel Roy, and Jackie Young out there. Those are 3 guards who want to put their shoulder through your chest for 4 quarters. She handled it, man. I thought she did an outstanding job. And then, we've been talking about it's almost evergreen at this point. She does a great job hitting the glass, rebounding for her position as well. And we saw that then. We saw a little bit of everything down the stretch. I think, Cardell, you said 7 of her 9 came in the fourth quarter, right? So she had 9 points. 7 of the 9 came in the fourth. A couple huge stops, right? And then a big part of that last stop, and they got the rebound to make sure it was over. Hell of a performance, man. Again, the only thing she didn't do was have her typical output scoring wise, but without what we were just talking about, they don't come out this game Because even for a little while there, we saw Drew Lloyd get going. And I know internally, I was just like, oh, here we go. I think Washington was teetering between 10 and 13, the deficit at that point. But again, just another feather in the cap of her rookie campaign for Sonya Citron, honestly.
And last thing, no turnovers, and she was a +2, being 2 for 10 from the field. Winning plays, man, winning basketball.
As you just said, winning basketball. You need those types of players, man. She did a hell of a job. Great job with Shakira as well. I thought the team responded from I thought it was a poor start. Obviously, like you said, now I have age and whatnot. We know the Aces still have some big names, but they've been struggling a little bit this year. I thought they responded well. Easily could have went the other way. So, like you said, Cardell, the key is to keep this going, head into All-Star break with some momentum. But again, they're back to 500 for the second time this year. Can't get too mad at it. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't have any comments tonight, so we will get at you guys a little bit later.